Hey guys, Andrew McFarland from StartAJuiceBar.com here. Hope you're happy, hope you're healthy, inspired to launch your business or grow your existing business. Today, we are talking about really understanding supply chains and why this is important. But before I dive in, if you guys are new to the channel and you don't know who I am or what we do over the last decade, myself and our company has had the pleasure of supporting hundreds of entrepreneurs just like you launch and scale successful juice concepts, smoothie concepts, acai bowl businesses, and more, as well as running our own businesses in this arena. So all the information on this channel is coming from this wealth of experience. Early invitation, press the like button, comment in the comment box below. If at any point you have any questions or comments, that's where it goes. And then lastly, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell so you get alerted when we release new content, because you don't want to miss anything that could change your business and therefore change your life. And now let's dive in. Okay, so first of all, if you don't know what a supply chain is, I'm just going to break that down. Maybe you do, and if this is too obvious for you, forgive us, but some people need to know this. When I'm referring to supply chains, it is implying and discussing the sequence of a product. Could be glass bottles, it could be certain ingredients, right? Inventory items going from one place, and the sequence of events that it has to go through, right? The chain, supply chain that it has to follow through in order for it to end up at your store and then eventually in your customers' hands and in their bodies. And so there are a number of, depending on the product or ingredient, there are a number of vendors and companies that might be intermediaries in the supply chain. Now, the reason that this is important is because if you understand how this whole process works, it can help you make better decisions on your purchasing. So I'm going to give you some examples of supply chain dynamics and sequences that help you understand how this works in a little bit more of maybe a concrete way. So for example, on your menu, you're probably going to sell apples. Apples is a very, very common ingredient. It's probably one of the most common ingredients. Now, if you're not strictly having a menu, which most juice bars don't, that is all local all the time, meaning that your ingredients and menu items and recipes are going to change with the seasons, but you want to have a menu that has a lot of items that are available to your customers year-round. What that means is that with a product like apples, apples are seasonal everywhere. So you aren't going to have access to apples that are grown locally in the United States all year round unless you've got distributors that are refrigerating these apples at other times and then selling them to you at other times of the year, but that generally doesn't happen. So what this means is that throughout the yearly cycle, right, 365 days in the year, there's going to be a certain season that you are going to be getting apples that might be grown in Washington, could be grown in other parts of the US. And then as the seasons change in America and apples are not as readily available in your local or local-ish environment, then they're going to be sourcing these apples from other parts of the world. Could be New Zealand, could be South America. It just depends on where they're growing and where your local distributor is purchasing them from. So the supply chain looks something like this. There are farms all around the world that grow apples at different times of year. These farms are selling to distributors, right? They could be one distribution company. It could be maybe many, but most of the time there might be one intermediate distribution company that's purchasing from a farm either somewhere in the US or could be in another country. Then the apples get delivered from this other country. They get delivered to your distributor, and then your distributor wholesales these apples to you, the juice bar. Then you sell them to the customer. You make the juice and you sell that product to the customer. If you were purchasing items from a retail grocery store, that's one more company in the middle of the supply chain. So the apples go from the farm to the distributor, to the grocery store, and then to you. Okay, so the reason that this is relevant is because the more intermediaries there are in a supply chain, the more it costs you, because you have to pay for those companies to make a profit, as well as all their overhead and expenses, right? They are equating that into their cost of doing business with you, how much they're selling the ingredients to you for. Now, this is one example because we're talking about ingredients and we're talking about apples in this situation, but the same philosophy is applied to all the things that end up in your business. There is a supply chain for everything to end up at your company. And the more you can circumvent potentially certain intermediaries, right, certain businesses in the supply chain, the more money you can actually save yourself. It may and very likely will require that you purchase things in larger volumes. But this is how everything is broken down, right? The distributor purchases in very, very, very large volumes from the farm. Then they break it down and you purchase in a bit larger quantities than you would from a grocery store, right? And so you save money because you're not paying retail pricing, you're paying wholesale pricing, but you're also not paying the pricing that the distributor is purchasing because you probably you don't have enough volume to buy directly from a farm because they might require that you purchase in the thousands of pounds as opposed to the tens of or 20s of pounds, if that makes sense. So this is important to know because, for example, let's use another example around bottles. A lot of people don't know, but most of the glass bottles and even plastic bottles are not manufactured in the United States. The United States almost manufactures nothing these days, right? And if they do manufacture something, it tends to be quite expensive because the cost of labor and the cost of doing business in the US is much higher than in a place like China or a place like Mexico, where most of the bottles come from, right? There might be other countries that manufacture bottles too, but this is where a good majority of these bottles come from China, from Mexico, and then there are distributors in the US, not manufacturers, right? Distributors, meaning that they purchase from China, from Mexico, and then they sell them to you at wholesale rates, okay? So, for example, a lot of the clients we work with, we have relationships with other manufacturers in China. They save our clients lots of money on their bottles because our clients go directly to the source of the manufacturing. But it does require that our clients purchase in larger quantities, which is something that you might consider if you want to get your bottle cost down. So if that's something you're interested in, email me at andrew@StartAJuiceBar.com because we can have this conversation with you about how to connect you and get you that information. But overall, it's important to understand this because with certain ingredients, you might find, hey, I'm selling a lot of this one particular ingredient. Maybe I can go directly to this farm and purchase more. It could be a dry ingredient, it could be almonds, it could be who knows what it is, right? So you start circumventing certain people in the supply chain in order to get yourself better pricing if you know that you're going to use. Maybe you have multiple stores at this point or you're working towards it. It's going to depend on the ingredient. It's going to depend on all these factors. But when you understand how supply chains work, it gives you more insight into how you can make more intelligent decisions when it comes to your purchasing and therefore saving you money, but also even more intelligent decisions when you understand how to navigate multiple vendors that you're going to be working with, because very likely you're going to have a lot of vendors that are supplying different ingredients. And you might have, let's say, for example, a local farm that you want to work with because you want the ingredients to be local, you want to support your local farmers, it's better for the environment. But then you find out, actually, this local farmer that only sells citrus has a minimum order quantity of $300, but I don't need that much citrus at my juice bar. So, and they also only deliver on Sundays and Tuesdays. Well, guess what? As much as I like to support them, I can't actually work with them unless I have to go pick everything up, and then might not make sense for my business operations. So there's a lot of factors to take into account when it comes to making your purchasing and maintaining your inventory, and also having a lower cost of goods in your business. So the whole process of ordering, maintaining inventory, and everything that I just mentioned is one that is, you could say, dynamic, and it takes a lot of awareness as to how these things actually work in order to save yourself money and have a fluid and efficient process within your business. So really what I wanted to share today is really about supply chains, so you understand a little bit more about how they work and what we're referring to when we talk about supply chains. And then lastly, if you guys need support with anything else in your business, we have a full spectrum development firm. We can help you A to Z. Reach out to me personally at andrew@StartAJuiceBar.com. Would be happy to discuss how we can help you. Hope this has been helpful. Questions or comments, you know where they go. Press the like button, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell. Last couple announcements. If you're not following us on Instagram, follow us on Instagram. We have exclusive giveaways that we only release there and so much more content. And then lastly, if you like podcasts, listen to our podcast. It's on Spotify. It's on iTunes. It's called the Juice Bar Experts Podcast. Until next time, hope you're happy and healthy. See you soon. Hope you guys have been enjoying the video content. If you are inspired to launch your juice business, but you're not exactly sure what steps to take, for you, we've created a free ebook, 15 Steps to Starting a Juice Business from Scratch. This is going to give you a high-level overview of everything you need to do from where you are now all the way to opening your business. Now, if you want to go even deeper, we've created an online course, the Juice Bar Master Blueprint. This is going to go into great detail into every aspect of starting your business, everything from branding to menu development to finding the right location, the equipment that you need, and so much more, all the way to launching your business. There's links for both of these in the description below. I know you're going to find a lot of value out of them. As always, hope you guys are happy and healthy, wishing you a lot of success, and I'll see you at the next video.